What's up, guys? I'm sorry I didn't make videos for a while because I'm kind of stuck in my trips, and in fact right now it's not that great for me to make a video. It's not convenient environment, but I still will do because it's already like a month without an update. So again, sorry about that. I will try to do it more often. Meanwhile, don't forget that we have Twitter and Telegram where I do updates or almost every day, if not even every day and a few times a day. So let's look at the price of Bitcoin and what is happening in crypto space. First of all, I should say that congratulations, we are making a new high, which is like almost $50,000. And last time I was making a video around here, end of December, and it was another consolidation period. After the consolidation, we made the rise up to $42,000. All right, what is important here? First of all, I should say that currently, yes, we approaching to new all-time high. Actually, we made it already, and we are having this another crazy pump. But the area before was really important and really interesting. Just look at what happened so far from spring 2020, and here basically what we have is that, for example, that area, we have the highs going up, lows going up, and we are constantly testing the resistance zone, and after some point this zone has been broken and we had the impulse towards to the upside. Another point, another area, the lows are going up, another zone of the resistance, and the next test, the impulse to the upside. Here it is actually opposite. It was pretty short, but still it's an exception, showing how it is different when the price action behaves in the different way. So we have the high and the zone of support, which is tested several times, and after the following test, one more test, we have the breakout to the downside. So this is very different. And another one for the first type, we have lows going up, and we have this zone which is about like $11,000 going tested, broken. So it is very similar again. For example, here we see the highs going up, lows going up. So it's not bearish. This consolidation is not bearish. Here again, resistance tested several times, lows are going up, it's bullish, and so on and so forth. Here instead, we actually have a very different situation. Here we have a formation which looks like a descending triangle, and here we have the zone around $29,000-$30,000 has been tested several times. Highs are going down, so this is very bearish to the contrast with the previous ones. And in fact, it was pretty long, so the chances that it would be broken to the downside even after the fake out to the upside are very high. But instead of that, and I did many updates on this point on Telegram and Twitter and so on, so we had the breakout of this resistance line, it became support. After the test, it tested from the upside, and the price started to rise after that, and now we have the zone around $38,000-$39,000 tested 1, 2, 3 times. We see the lows are going up, it is broken, tested from the top, and now we have the impulse to the upside to the new all-time high. So meaning that we exited this consolidation zone to the new zone and new high again, meaning that despite of the bearish setup here, the trend, the bull trend, is still very strong, so we are having it developed in a bullish way. But that should be taken with cautiousness, because there are so many things going on, and in fact it is very similar to what we had in 2016 and 17. What we had is that we had like impulse and a correction, impulse, correction, and a sequence of those mini cycles, every correction was like 30-40%, and the whole rally was phenomenal. It's basically went from the previous all-time high, which is something like $1,200, to 20,000, so something like 20x. Here, after breaking 20,000, we already had another impulse and this 30% drop. So we actually could say that this situation is very similar to this. Of course, we had this low, high, low, which are not the same as we had here, but generally, if you eliminate those, you could say that this is what we are having right now. And again, this is very similar to what we had here, right? So you could say that, okay, we are in the middle of the bull market and we have another few months or more of beautiful rising trend. So we will have a huge price on Bitcoin and other assets in crypto space, and that's great, right? Right. Again, this is very, very likely scenario, if not the most likely scenario. And here is the long-term regression curve for Bitcoin, which we talked about several times, well, many times, and not only me. And you know that this blue line is something like a mean value of Bitcoin price, and those yellow ones are the standard deviation from that price, and basically it shows the highs and the lows, and we're approaching to the top orange line again. Currently it's something at $85,000, so you'd expect that we might have a new all-time high around that area, maybe a little below than $100,000, and then we should see something similar to that, to the new bear market. Is it reasonable? It's pretty reasonable. But isn't it too obvious, you think? Because everyone knows that this is the behavior of Bitcoin that you'd expect. We have halving events, we have those stock and flow, we have this regression, we also have the institutions buying crypto, Tesla, recent pumps. We also have Ether futures starting on CME. By the way, you remember when the Bitcoin futures started to trade around that point? I think 3 days before the drop, if I'm not mistaken. And then we had the prolonged bear market. So again, isn't it too obvious that we will have a similar case right now? Well, it's really, really hard to say. In the end of the day, it's actually the game of the supply and demand. How many buyers, how many sellers? So if, again, probably the huge players with a big capital, they were accumulating at that point. So now they want to sell their position at the nice price. When it will be, nobody knows, but when the number of buyers, retailers, is high enough to cover their positions of huge players, then huge players will start to sell, and basically we'll see something like topping around here. And again, what will be the structure of that top? It's really, really hard to say. In fact, you'd expect that the whole price action will be like that, but it might be something like this. It's crazy, but it could be, or like that. It's both of those are very different from what we had before, and there's no reason to expect that the new one will be exactly the same. Maybe we will actually having something totally crazy, something like this, or whatever. We don't know. Again, currently we have the pumps from Elon Musk buying Bitcoin. Tomorrow we'll have the crucial bug in the code and the price will go to $100. Nobody knows what will happen. Still, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. So I believe that, well, it's very likely, again, considering the wide growth of the market, not only Bitcoin is growing, but also Ether and other altcoins are growing. I would expect that we probably will continue going up, at least to some extent, and then something new, something unexpected happen. Maybe the drop will be the one of the next drops will be not 30%, but something like 50% or 60%, and then after that we'll have the recovery very fast, and we have it like a double top, for example, and the bear market, something like that. Everything which is unexpected, I would actually expect, or vice versa. Instead of going to, let's say, $100,000, we may go much higher. And while most of people will start to sell over here, instead we might get a price going higher and higher and higher, and people would say, okay, why I actually did sell here? Probably price will go up forever, so let's buy here, let's buy here, and let's buy even more here. Let's sell our house and a dog and a car, and the price goes like this. So again, it's the game of supply and demand. Instead of doing this blind buying or blind selling, what I would suggest to do is that let's look at some indications, some signals of what is happening. And again, basically similar to what we had here. So consolidation periods, zones are bullish, let's buy. If the consolidation is bearish, let's at least put a stop order, which would prevent us from taking a heavy loss. Here, it is pretty much the same. So short term, how to evaluate the next price action, the next move of the price. So currently we have the price something like sitting $48,000, something like that. And the main point is that we have this zone, this support resistance area, somewhere in between 39 to 42,000. So if the price making a new high, let's say 50,000, and start to correct something like that, testing the zone, starting to test again, going inside the zone, and maybe here we have these two situations, two possible scenarios. If here it goes like that, goes lower than zone, then tests it again, going another low, then it's very likely that this is a fake out, and we will continue to go lower even though the price is so high. A lot of fundamentals, as Lesser Rostani says, fundamentals, schmundamentals. Price never goes according to fundamentals. It's always off, up or down, but only twice in a few years it is the same as the mean price or fair price. So in that case, we'll probably see the continuation of the drop, and maybe this whole area is the distribution. Moreover, we would have to take a look. It might look like a Wyckoff distribution at that point, and then if it is so, then it's really huge area, long, and indeed that might be the end of the rally that we have for a long time. So be careful with that. Let's pay attention. And by the way, if there is a higher high like that, I will pay attention to that high. If it doesn't go too much to the upside and the corresponding indicator's high doesn't make a higher high like that, instead, if it will do something like this, and we'll have the bearish divergence, so lower high on the indicator and lower high on the indicator and the higher high on the price, it means that this is bearish divergence, a normal one, and it's a very bearish sign. We didn't have such bearish divergence on the weekly time frame so far before during the whole rally, and yeah, that is again the signal for the new bear market, potentially for a very long time. We can also form something like that, which is a head and shoulders formation, something like this. And again, let's pay attention to those signs. If we see those, it's better to fix at least some of the profits. Don't be greedy, and you will not regret. And if instead of that, after testing this zone, price goes something like this, making a high, then testing the zone again, making a new high higher, and actually starting to make another consolidation like that, like having this area similar to this high tested over and over again, lows are going up, then it is a bullish consolidation, and we might expect another wave to the upside. So that is basically the plan and the strategy during this period. Of course, don't forget that there is there should be at least two parts of your capital in terms of investments, which first is basically the long-term investment, and second maybe a short-term trading or short-term investments. And apparently you should divide those time-wise, so don't trade everything and so on. And in general, don't buy or invest more than you can afford to lose. This is the general thing. It's a lot of the risk management issues here. So let's be patient, let's be cautious, and we will win in the long term. So guys, I hope that it is useful. And I will make more, I will try to make it more often. Probably we'll look at some altcoins because it's a hot topic right now. Is it alt season or not? And which are good to buy, some setups, and so on and so forth. So far, that is it for today, and I hope that it was useful. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.